Across generations, spiritual beliefs have been framed through fear, sensationalism, and misunderstanding, turning wisdom traditions into shadows on the wall. Today, we invite you to step beyond those shadows and meet the living heart of a tradition too often misrepresented: Voodoo. Imagine if the stories you inherited about spirit were rewritten with discernment, compassion, and curiosity rather than suspicion and dread. This journey is a call to clear away the fog of myth and to listen for the pulse of truth beneath history's noise. When we change the lens, we discover that what we feared may be a doorway to deeper understanding, healing, and cosmic connection. Misrepresentation often begins where power speaks louder than presence, and where outsiders narrate what they do not practice or understand. Sensational media reduces complex rituals to caricature, flattening sacred nuance into spectacle for profit and control. Fear, once planted, travels quickly, becoming a cultural shorthand that prevents honest encounter and respectful learning. Yet every tradition deserves to be approached in its own language, with its own cosmology, and with the humility to be taught rather than to judge. When we choose authenticity over spectacle, we restore dignity to the people, places, and spirits involved. Voodoo, more precisely Voodoo or Voodoo in different regions, is a living spiritual system rooted in reciprocal relationships between humans, ancestors, and the divine. It honors a creator beyond human reach, served through spirits who carry specific qualities, stories, and medicines for the community. Its rituals are conversations with the invisible, conducted through song, rhythm, offering, and ethical responsibility to the living and the dead. At its heart, Voodoo is not a dark art, but a communal practice of balance, healing, and guidance across the seen and unseen worlds. To understand Voodoo, we listen to practitioners and elders who carry its memory in their bodies, languages, and daily service. The roots of Voodoo reach into West Africa, among Fon and Yu communities in present-day Benin and Togo, and alongside Yoruba, Congo, and related traditions across the region. Here, the cosmos is relational. Forces of nature, ancestral presence, and divine principle interweave in a fabric of reciprocity and respect. Knowledge is transmitted through lineage, song, symbols, and the careful stewardship of ritual responsibilities. Sacred arts, masking, drumming, dance, and divination are not entertainment. They are technologies of alignment with the world's subtle currents. From these homelands, people carried memory and ritual seeds that would adapt and flourish in new soils under unimaginable pressure. Many lineages teach of a remote creator, known in Haitian Voodoo as Bandai, served through the Loa, each embodying distinct virtues, rhythms, and pathways. Papa Legba opens the way at crossroads, reminding us that access to the spirit world begins with respect and proper greeting. Erzuli carries currents of love, beauty, and compassion. Ogu brings strength, strategy, and the courage to cut through obstacles. Service to the spirits is enacted through songs, drumming patterns, offerings, and ethical conduct that binds the community together. Possession, when invited and safely held, is understood as communion. Spirit temporarily rides the body to bless, counsel, and heal. During the transatlantic slave trade, enslaved Africans carried their spiritual frameworks across the ocean, safeguarding them in secret and in song. Under oppression, traditions adapted, integrating elements of Catholic iconography to protect sacred practice from hostility and surveillance. What some call syncretism is also a testament to resilience, a creative strategy to preserve memory and meaning under brutal conditions. Community rites became sanctuaries where identity, courage, and solidarity could be rekindled in the face of daily dehumanization. In this crucible, Voodoo evolved without losing its ethical center: reciprocity, respect for ancestors, and responsibility to the living. In Haiti, Voodoo nourished an unbreakable spirit of freedom, gathering courage and coordination among the enslaved. Ceremonies such as those remembered at Bois Cayman symbolized collective resolve and sacred commitment to liberation. The Haitian Revolution emerged from many forces: political, economic, and spiritual, unfolding into the first Black Republic in 1804. Voodoo remained a source of community identity, healing, and moral guidance in the decades that followed. Its history reminds us that spiritual practice can be a wellspring of dignity, strategy, and endurance. In Louisiana, Voodoo developed its own flavor, shaped by African diasporic memory, Catholic imagery, and Creole culture. Public rituals, healing consultations, and folk medicines intertwined with local music, storytelling, and community life. Figures like priestesses and community leaders expanded access to spiritual care through practical remedies and ritual counsel. This lineage underscores that Voodoo is not monolithic. It is a family of related traditions adapted to the needs of place and people. When we recognize regional diversity, we honor the creativity and responsibility of practitioners across generations. At its core, Voodoo is a healing art, addressing misfortune, illness, and imbalance through ritual diagnosis and remedies. Ethics are practical and relational. To live well is to honor ancestors, care for community, and keep one's promises to spirit. Ritual spaces are carefully held, with clear boundaries and responsibilities to ensure safety and dignity for all participants. Offerings and reciprocity embody gratitude, reminding us that blessings circulate when we give and receive with integrity. When communities practice together, they weave bonds of mutual aid that strengthen resilience in everyday life. Colonial powers often portrayed African-derived religions as chaotic or dangerous to justify control and cultural suppression. Missionary accounts sometimes confused unfamiliar rituals with malice, failing to see their ethical frameworks and communal purpose. Such narratives traveled into textbooks and policy, shaping public opinion through partial truths and convenient myths. Demonization does not describe the religion. It reveals the anxieties and agendas of those telling the story. By reading sources critically and listening to practitioners, we can unlearn inherited bias and recover nuance. In the early 20th century, geopolitical interests and foreign occupations contributed to lurid depictions of Voodoo in popular media. Sensational journalism magnified fear, while filmmakers turned complex ritual into horror shorthand: zombies, dolls, and curses. These images sold tickets and papers, but cost communities dignity, warping public understanding for generations. Yet even amid distortion, practitioners continued the quiet work of service, counseling, and healing. Our task now is to separate spectacle from substance and to seek learning at the source. Contemporary scholars and practitioners have worked to correct myths, publishing research, teaching publicly, and opening ritual spaces with consent and care. Voices from within the tradition emphasize ethics, community benefit, and the philosophical depth of cosmology and ritual. Education invites collaboration: historians, anthropologists, and elders building bridges for a fuller public understanding. When a tradition speaks for itself, stereotypes dissolve and living wisdom becomes visible again. Reclamation is not just about image. It is about empowering communities to practice safely and with pride. Voodoo teaches that energy moves through patterns, rhythms, veves, songs, and offerings that align human life with cosmic order. Drum patterns become bridges, inviting spirits across thresholds while steadying the heartbeats of those who listen. The cosmos is not distant, but intimate. Ancestors are near, nature participates, and spirit travels in currents we can feel and honor. When we approach with reverence, the ordinary becomes luminous, and daily acts turn into ceremonies of belonging. Through this lens, the universe appears as a living web, woven by relationship, responsibility, and love. To move beyond demonization, we cultivate friendship, listening, learning, and asking permission before participating. We acknowledge harms caused by misrepresentation and commit to practices that restore trust and dignity. Humility opens doors. When we honor protocols and elders, understanding becomes possible. Every respectful encounter is a seed, one that grows into compassion and informed community. In friendship, we find the courage to let Spirit teach us on Spirit's terms. Take what resonates and integrate it gently. A candle for an ancestor, a song of gratitude, a conversation with the land you walk upon. Let discernment be your compass and consent your guide, remembering that sacred knowledge has boundaries and guardians. Balance study with practice and practice with reflection, so learning becomes embodied and ethical. As understanding deepens, you may find yourself more connected to community, to earth, and to the quiet wisdom that flows through all things. Integration is a slow blessing, arriving as patience, kindness, and clarity in everyday life. Before we close, we honor practitioners, elders, and communities who carry this tradition with courage and care. May our learning be accountable, giving credit where it is due and supporting the safeguarding of sacred knowledge. We acknowledge differences among lineages and regions, and we commit to approaching each with humility and consent. Let gratitude guide our steps as we return from the ritual space to ordinary life, keeping the teachings in our conduct. On this threshold, we choose respect over curiosity for curiosity's sake, remembering that relationship is the path. Feel the weight of your body and the steadiness of the ground that holds you, reminding you that belonging is tactile and real. Breath by breath, notice how presence softens the mind and steadies the heart, turning attention into a gentle practice. Let the living world, a leaf, a breeze, a bird song, become your teacher of simplicity, patience, and care. Carry forward the ethics of reciprocity. Give thanks, protect what protects you, and walk with tenderness in every step. As you return to your day, remember that every step you take is felt by the earth. Your breath, your heartbeat, your presence, they matter. Ground yourself in the now and let the earth hold you steady. You are part of something greater. Stay connected, stay grounded, and know that healing begins with presence. Lift your gaze and sense the vastness that exceeds words, a quiet majesty that welcomes you as kin. In silence, feel how intuition brightens, an inner lantern revealing pathways of compassion, courage, and trust. Let gratitude widen into awe, and awe into service, so your life becomes a channel for wisdom and care. Remember that every sincere prayer is heard, and every sincere act ripples outward through the great web of being. Open your arms to the unseen and let the universe rest against your heart, teaching you to listen more deeply than before. I leave you with this inspiration. The light of the universe surrounds you. The love of the universe enfolds you. The power of the universe protects you. The presence of the universe watches over you. You are one with the universe. Awaken to the energies that connect us all. You are not alone, The universe is listening, and your journey matters.